Hello, and welcome to this training on ethics and drug awareness. WCG has an ongoing ethics program. This program addresses both general ethical business practices and specific issues and policies relating to contracting with the government and non-government agencies. It consists of the following components: a business code of conduct and ethics guidelines, audit procedures, a hotline for the reporting of suspected ethics violations, a compliance committee, and investigations of suspected ethics violations and corrective action where necessary. It's the responsibility of every employee in the corporation to know and accept the principles in the business code of conduct. It's the obligation of every manager and supervisor to fully understand the code principles and the specific policies which govern the corporation, and to ensure that every person within his or her area of responsibility understands them. Ethical conduct requires continuing attention, guidance, and enforcement by management, and WCG has established a compliance committee. The compliance committee consists of the Chief Financial Officer, the Aviation Group Vice President, the Human Resources Manager, and outside legal counsel if it's needed. The committee has 4 main duties. They're responsible for communicating, implementing, and enforcing our business code of conduct. They provide employees with advice and answers. They're responsible for receiving, investigating, and documenting reports of violation and recommending any corrective action. They also coordinate all the audits of employee and supervisor compliance, and they also perform regular evaluations of the compliance program. And they monitor the program's effectiveness, identify weaknesses, and recommend and implement improvements. We have an internal audit procedure. It's to determine if the employees and supervisors are complying with the business code of conduct and our policies and procedures. Such audits may include floor checks of timesheets, reviews of certifications and representations in proposals, and check for compliance with accounting procedures. We ask that employees cooperate fully with such audits. All employees have an obligation to report any violations or possible violations of the business code of conduct. Employees are also encouraged to present questions and concerns about compliance issues and company policy to a compliance committee member. Employees have several options for conveying this information. They can contact a committee member. They can contact the hotline at 301-656-3122. Reports can be anonymous, but we do ask you to provide as much detail as possible. No code of conduct advocating ethical behavior and cautioning against misconduct, no matter how carefully crafted or definitively drawn, can ever cover every circumstance. The following ethical standards protect both our customers and ourselves. WCG shall conduct all aspects of the company business in an ethical and legal manner. The employees are responsible for their own actions and consequences. No one will be excused from misconduct because another person ordered or asked the employee to participate in misconduct. Each employee's conduct must reflect the highest standards of honesty, integrity, and fairness. Each employee must alert their supervisor or the compliance committee or call the hotline whenever they observe something that's dishonest, destructive, or illegal. The employee must also respect the rights of all employees to fair treatment and equal opportunity, without discrimination or harassment of any type. Employees will not use their employment with WCG or our name to promote their own personal interests. Employees must also ensure that all financial transactions and other documentation are handled honestly and recorded accurately. Employees shall also protect information that belongs to the company, its customers, suppliers, and fellow workers. Employees should also avoid conflicts of interest, both real and perceived, and recognize that even the appearance of misconduct or improper behavior can be very damaging to the reputation of WCG. Each employee must recognize that there are consequences for violating this code. Those consequences could include reprimands, fines, demotion, or even dismissal. Reporting, allocating, and charging your time and costs is also an important area. All corporate books and records will be prepared and maintained accurately, truthfully, and in compliance with U.S. government laws and regulations. Employees are required to complete daily time records, and they're responsible for ensuring that the information included on such records is accurate in every respect and completed in a timely manner. Conflicts of interest are also another area that you need to be aware of. Personal conflicts of interest are those outside activities or personal interests which could influence objective decisions made by an employee in the performance of their job. For example, moonlighting for a competitor, supplier, or customer while employed by WCG could pose a conflict of interest and is prohibited unless you get approval by the Compliance Committee. Any activity, even if it appears to influence the objective decision of its employees, could potentially be a conflict of interest. It could also arise because there are specific laws and regulations prohibiting or limiting the ability of contractors to make offers of employment. Only WCG headquarters management may make an official offer of employment. Gratuities and kickbacks are another area to discuss. No employee shall solicit, accept, or provide any gratuity or kickback in connection with any transaction. The Compliance Committee must approve anything when you are considering giving any kind of thing to the government employee or prime contractor. Gifts from contractors to government employees are limited to $10 per item or $50 per year. Employees will not accept from firms or individuals doing business or seeking to do business with WCG any kind of loans or payments or other services of any kind of value that are not available to the general public. Unauthorized receipt or use of government source selection sensitive data or competitor proprietary data is strictly forbidden. This could subject WCG to fines, contract termination, suspension, or debarment, and individuals to criminal prosecution. Some examples of this kind of data would be bid prices and proposed cost prices, source selection plans, technical evaluation plans, cost, price, or technical evaluations. Any employee who comes into possession of any of the above data, marked or unmarked, should immediately contact a member of the Compliance Committee. Proposal preparation and contract negotiations are also another area to be aware of. Employees involved in these areas must understand and fully review and execute in good faith all required representations and certifications. If you have any questions, you should contact the Compliance Committee. Quality of products and services include testing. We have a contractual obligation to provide the U.S. government with products and services which comply in every respect with contract specifications. Any deviation may subject us to potential fines and penalties. Falsification of inspection or test results is strictly forbidden. WCG does have some restricted information. Employees cannot disclose to any outside party, except as specifically authorized by us, any procedures, proprietary sensitive property, such as non-public business, financial, personal, or technological information, computer files, data, or plans that you've acquired during your employment with WCG. The prohibition against disclosing our restricted information extends indefinitely beyond your period of employment. Your agreement to protect the confidentiality of such information in perpetuity is considered an important condition of your employment at WCG. Another area as a government contractor is to discuss drug awareness, which we will go into now. The Drug-Free Workplace Act of 1988 discussed companies that do business with the U.S. government must have a written policy explaining the rules against drugs in the workplace. The policy must be distributed to employees, and it must state that employees can't use, distribute, sell, or make drugs at work. We also need to educate the employees about the dangers of drug use on the job. Employees that are convicted of violating drug-free workplace rules must report the conviction to the company within 5 days. The company has 10 days to report the conviction to the government. The company then has 30 days to take action, such as discipline, up to discharge. We can also assist the employee in getting into an approved treatment program, and the employee must complete the program or risk losing their job. Our drug-free policy prohibits the possession, use, or sale of drugs or alcohol on company property, including government locations. It forbids working under the influence. We also have random drug and alcohol testing and discipline for those who violate the rules and refuse help. Alcohol is a sedative and can influence your ability to function effectively at work. You can become clumsy and physically or mentally slow, possibly causing accidents or mistakes. It can affect attendance, decrease productivity, create careless work, and reckless or aggressive behavior. Drugs are also another area that can affect your work. Marijuana relaxes the users and can impair judgment. It can also affect perception of time and space, lower productivity, and you will create more mistakes. Cocaine is highly addictive. It creates poor judgment, drastic mood swings, sleeplessness, paranoia, and prolonged use can cause heart attacks and stroke. Amphetamines can be legal drugs, but used for non-prescription purposes. It can cause anxiety, mood swings, and other effects. Heroin is very addictive and has serious health conditions such as HIV and hepatitis, overdose, and death. It causes fluctuating alertness, lack of concentration, lower productivity, increased risk of accidents. Hallucinogens can distort the user's view of reality. You may suffer confusion, loss of concentration, short-term memory loss, depression, and panic when the drug wears off. As you can see from the slides of alcohol and drugs, we prohibit any of these to be used during your work environment at a government facility or a WCG facility. How can you recognize a problem? Employees may overreact to criticism, complain of illness or personal or financial problems, become more careless, and make more mistakes. As the drug use escalates, the employee may become uncooperative, avoid coworkers, lose weight, or take less care with their physical appearance. How can you get help? The first thing to do is talk to your supervisor or human resources confidentially. Speak to your doctor or your religious leader who may be able to guide you to the areas where you can get help. The internet is also a good source. There are many health organizations, social services, and mental health organizations that can help you. We also have an employee assistance program that's available to you. You may call 1-800-386-7055. This is a confidential service. Their website is www.ibhworklife.com. The username is Matters, and the password is WLM70101. This concludes the Ethics and Drug Awareness training. Thank you for attending the training. If you have any questions, contact your supervisor or Human Resources. Please sign and date the acknowledgement form and fax it to 800-982-7001 or scan and email it to mb@fosterthomas.com. Thank you very much.